Hey, it's me, Santa. I'm really tired because I did a whole bunch of work yesterday, and now I just want to kick my feet up and relax. And you know what the best thing to do when I kick my feet up and relax is? It's to listen to another episode of this podcast. Before we continue my first ever journey through the Harry Potter series, just a few quick announcements. First off, happy holidays. Hope the holiday season has been kind to you. Happy New Year. Happy anything that you're celebrating. I hope you're having a good time. Hopefully you got some good presents, got to spend quality time with the folks you love, or just quality time chilling with yourself. Maybe you got a break from work. Whatever you're doing, I hope it's great. Speaking of things that are great, we have 2023 live shows coming your way. Huge shout out to all the folks who came to the Australia and the New Zealand shows, especially when the announcements were on short notice. We are doing some shows in the US. Those are planned. And we've got Europe tour stuff in the works. The one US show that is confirmed so far is in San Francisco, California. I've never performed in the Bay Area, which is wild. But on Thursday, February 23rd, I will be performing there. It will be a half Potterless, half the Newest Olympian live show. You can get tickets right now at potterlesspodcast.com/live. I also should be doing a live show for the Newest Olympian in Washington, D.C. in late February, early March, but we had to reschedule things because the venue I was going to perform at closed, so we got to find a new one for around similar dates. Now, Europe tour stuff is in the works. I'm trying to make some European live shows happen over the course of March. So probably like the first or second week of March through the end of March, trying to see however many cities I can get interest from, however many venues I can perform in. If you know anyone in the realm of venue hiring, tour booking, anything like that, I'm looking for 200-ish seat venues. Please feel free to send an email to potterlesspodcast@gmail.com. Shout out to the folks who've already reached out. I'm trying to put together as much information I can so we can put together the best European tour possible. It's finally happening. Now, if it doesn't seem like attending a live show in person is in the cards for you, but you still want that live show experience of what Potterless Live is like, you should go to the Potterless Podcast YouTube channel where I've been posting live show vlogs. I just put up vlog number 3, which finished out videos from 2021 live shows. If you search for Potterless on YouTube, you'll find our channel. I think you can also go to youtube.com/@ the @ Potterless, and it'll be there. But just search for Potterless, check out the tour vlogs, they're really fun, and subscribe to the Potterless YouTube channel because I upload stuff there on a regular basis. I did a lecture series recently that's going to go up soon, so check that out. Lots of good stuff there, and I update it every now and then. Now, what are you about to listen to? This is a live show from April 2022 where I took the stage with Brandon Grugle and Lauren Shippen, two of my favorite human beings on earth, and we had a very silly time putting Harry Potter characters through an improvised gauntlet of reality TV competition shows. It was so fun, and there will be lots of references to Dungeons & Dragons in this episode, and if you've ever wanted to see me play Dungeons & Dragons, you should go to the website of the new D&D stream I'm doing called 20 to Midnight. The website is 20tomidnight.com. I'll talk more about that at the mid-roll break, but for now, let's get into episode 201 of Potterless. That's ridiculous. Episode 201 of Potterless, where live in Seattle with Brandon Grugle and Lauren Shippen, we put Harry Potter characters through a reality TV show gauntlet.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. My other brothers can't deny. And when a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung.
How's it going, everybody? I made it rain business cards for the folks at home because I flew here directly from a trip I was doing abroad, and when I was packing the bags, the money guns didn't make the cut for what I brought in the luggage, but I'm very happy to be here in Seattle, a former home of mine. I lived here for 2 whole years in West Seattle. Anyone come from West Seattle? No? Oh, yay! You survived the bridge? Are you okay? Did it take you 6 hours, 7 hours? I've heard it's terrible. But no, I'm very excited to be here. Very excited to be back. This is the debut. This is the bonus of you coming to the podcast. I'm finally wearing my Sue Bird jersey that I bought a while ago. Very, very, very happy to have finally displayed that for the folks listening after the fact. It looks great. So, we're here in Seattle. We're going to be doing a very fun live show tonight. And if you've listened to some of the ones in the past, whether you've listened to past live shows or the streams that we did, we've done some reality TV stuff before. And we've done The Bachelor, we've done Survivor. And I was trying to think of, well, what should we do? Seattle's such an important city to me. I love it so much. How do I make the show special? What if we did every reality show that I could think of? So what we will be doing tonight is we're going to... Oh, hello, the theme music again. Why not? Welcome to the stage, Brandon and Laurie, who are going to be our guests. Come on! Perfect. We roll with punches here. I like that. Okay. Almost got the extra Mix-a-Lot intro.
I was tired of listening to your intro, so I turned on the music.
Yeah, when I do the intros for the shows, I always intersperse a local rapper with the Potterless intro song. So when that came to Seattle, my options were Macklemore and Sir Mix-a-Lot, and I don't know. I made fun of Macklemore once at like an improv show thing, and no one laughed. So I guess people like still like him here. I'm just not gonna touch that one. But when the three of us did a live show in LA, we did The Bachelor. Now we're upping the ante tenfold by doing 10 reality shows in one. We're going to be putting 11
in 10 minutes.
All right, here we go. We are going to be putting 11 Harry Potter characters through the Gauntlet. And at the end of this, we will have one ultimate winner. Now, we will be doing only reality shows that involve like one person gets eliminated type deals. So there's no relationship shows, and you'll see. It's going to be a hoot and a half. Here's the 11 competitors that we have going forward. We've got Harry Potter, obviously, Draco Malfoy, Albus Dumbledore, Minerva McGonagall, Sirius Black, Ginny Weasley, Luna Lovegood, Voldemort, Dolores Umbridge, Rubius Hagrid, and Lee Jordan. Those are the 11 people going at it. Tried to cover all of our bases. We got some young, we got some old, we've got evil people, we've got good people. Lee's there having a good time. It's going to
always
be fun.
love the party.
Yeah. Before we get into the reality TV shows, the two of you, what is your reality TV experience? Are you big watchers, not big watchers? Where do you fall?
I won The Bachelor in 2012.
Someone listening at home like knows who was the winner of that. Kelly loves The Bachelor.
No, I mostly watch kitchen-based reality shows.
Okay.
Or dog-based reality shows.
Dog-based reality
What
shows?
are the dog-based
Yes,
reality
The
shows?
Amazing Race featuring dogs. I forgot what it was called. It's on some...
The Amazing
it's on
Dogs?
Amazon Prime, I believe. Go look it up. It's perfect. I think it might have been called The Amazing Dogs.
Excellent. I also mostly watch, Great British Bake Off, Great Pottery Throwdown, the stuff that's like British and very
Great
calm.
Pottery Throwdown?
Oh, do you not know about Great Pottery Throwdown?
I mean, to throw pottery down seems like the wrong thing to do.
you throw pottery. That's the whole thing.
Is it another one of the British ones where just like everyone's
it's
happy?
Like, exactly. This guy cries over pottery all the time. It's so like one of the judges. It's really nice. He just gets like so emotional about the pottery.
She's underplaying it. He looks at an egg cup that's just like white and he starts crying.
But it's beautiful. It's beautifully thrown.
Oh no,
Brandon.
it's amazing.
That's very good. Me personally, I watched Survivor like when it came out. My family got very into it, but I think that's just like being in the Americas in the 2000s. Like you just
I've
had
seen
to.
one episode of Survivor. That's it.
Wow,
Yeah.
impressive.
My brother had a Survivor-based birthday party when I was like 13.
Did he have a Jeff Probst impersonator come through?
I think it was my dad.
But I'm not like a super big watcher of them. But the one thing that I did get very into when we moved to Texas in high school, I had so much homework. I went to a very hard high school. And I would basically just
How hard was it?
It was voted in the top 50 like academic Catholic schools in America. So super hard.
So you're really smart.
A big nerd.
Did you study Latin there? Or?
I did. Shout out to
I've listened to
Potterless.
Potterless.
But the only reality show that I watched, like, just by being in the background was Project Runway. My mom, very into fashion, very into that show. And it would just, like, be on in the background while I was doing homework and stuff. But, like, I absorbed enough by osmosis that, like, I became very invested in Project Runway. Like, the first season was on, I was like, okay, yeah. And then season 2, I was like, Santino Rice is a god of fashion. And it is a crime.
I remember that season. Yeah.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I watched the first maybe 4 seasons of Project Runway, and I remember Santino very well.
Santino and his Tim Gunn impression is great. Tim Gunn is like very high on my, like, if you got to meet a celebrity, who would you meet list. Like, Tim Gunn's incredibly high. And one thing I remember about Tim Gunn is he once did a Reddit AMA thread where someone like asked him about men's fashion, and you could just like ask him whatever you want. And some guy asked like, hey, I have this sweater vest, but I can't find a way to make it look good. My girlfriend says it looks weird. And then Tim Gunn is like, sweater vest should be he said something like, sweater vest should only be reserved for boys' school uniforms. There is no way to make it look good.
And then Mike,
carry on.
one tier, you look down at your sweater vest.
I thankfully own 0. But we're going to go through a whole list now. To make it like randomized and fun and to make sure we're not like picking things, we're going to be rolling a digital D10. Do you have your thank you, Brandon?
I did forget to bring my actual dice, but I have no table, so it wouldn't have mattered.
It worked out way
true,
better.
Yeah.
So I planned on this in advance. I didn't just forget my thing.
So Brandon will roll the D10. We will see which of these reality shows that we've got prepared, and we're going to keep them surprised because that's fun. And then we'll put them through. Someone will get eliminated. We'll keep going. We'll have an intermission. We'll do some more. We'll do Q&A at the end. Have a fun time here in Seattle. So Brandon, roll us our D10 and let's see what our first reality show is.
All right, anyone who knows me knows I roll really poorly, so let's find out.
Yeah, that's true.
It's an 8!
An 8! Okay. Ooh, okay, good.
I love that support from the audience. I rolled a high number.
Because it really matters in this case.
Yeah, the problem is you're getting all your high rolls out. In the one where it really is just to pick a number between 1 and 10. It is not for skill. It's like, oh, you picked a good one. So, I'm going to set the stage here. So, all of our 11 wizards find themselves... this is the one show I've not watched. They find themselves, I think, blindfolded. And the host of this show...
Mike, where are you going with this?
The host of this show, who is Mad Eye Moody, he instructs them to take off their blindfolds.
Mike, where are you going with this?
I'm going actually just down the street from here to Pike's Place Market. A slight woo for the tourist trap. Mad Eye Moody has revealed that they are on the Amazing Wizarding Race. And what they need to do in this wizarding offshoot of the Amazing Race, which I've seen 0 episodes of, is that they need to get from Seattle, Washington to Diagon Alley, but they cannot use any magic. They have to do the most Seattle things possible in order to get clues that are letters and numbers of their Alaska Airlines, because what other airlines would it be? Flight out of SeaTac into London. So we will now determine what the most Seattle things possible are and also who would be the best/worst at this. I think if you're starting in Pike's Place, they have to like throw a fish through a target, right?
Definitely, yeah.
I'm glad that you brought the 2 1-year
Not
newbies to
even 1 year
Seattle
in.
and 2 years.
Yeah. Hey, I did all the
Totally know
things.
what's going on.
Yeah,
in
Seattle
things.
Have you heard this band Nirvana? That's the 3rd time I've told this joke this evening.
Yeah, I mean, if I was thinking of like, because I don't know if anyone else here is big Amazing Race heads. Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay,
Don't they just like
yeah.
do a bunch of like challenges to get clues and then they go somewhere else, right? Yeah, so they do a bunch of different shenanigans.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing too. Isn't the Amazing Race pairs?
Yeah.
So like, do we think that people are going to team up to try and succeed together?
I think they could. I think it would be unofficial. So like maybe some friends, like maybe Harry and Lee Jordan do something together, Ginny and Luna. And that could be a reason for someone not doing well. Like, I don't know if anyone, even Voldemort, is going to work with Umbridge. So she could very much be left out in the cold here. But yeah, I would imagine like tossing a fish through
getting
a
a
target.
job at Amazon.
Yeah, go like you have to do like the most like tourist trappy hike of like what's the ledge one? Rattlesnake. Thank you. You got to do a rattlesnake to deal with all of it. You have to
Space Needle.
Go to the
obviously.
Space Needle, sure. Pay $35 for an elevator ride. The most expensive elevator in the world. You have to like point out that Starbucks is the only like corporation that's in Pike's Place Market. All the other ones are local businesses.
Yes, if anyone here works at Starbucks, please unionize. The one thing, my favorite thing about Seattle is beachers. So
Yes.
I'm going
The
to have to require
cheese.
they eat cheese.
Yep.
Yeah. Or would
Yeah.
the more challenge be like you have to stand outside Beachers where they're making the cheese and you have to not eat cheese for 10 minutes? That's like the true challenge.
You have to find a clue in that big cheese curd thing.
Oh, yeah. You have to go like fishing for it. Yeah. Various Seattle tasks. Who do we think would be the best and the worst at these?
So I think the first thing to consider is who is used to the Muggle world at all. Who would thrive not using magic? I mean, Harry obviously lived his first 12 years entirely in the Muggle world.
Yeah, but he was under stairs for 9 of those.
But he didn't get out much.
Yeah, I feel like Dumbledore is going to be fine. He's done
Yeah.
enough like conniving around.
He's been alive for like 150
Right.
years.
Hagrid's
So.
kind of had to rough it on his own by being an outcast. So I feel like he'd be able to piece things together. I'm really leaning towards Umbridge just being all out of sorts here. I also don't feel like she'd be great in an Amazing Race, like high stress type setting where she couldn't like order people around.
Right. Like having to rely on her own wits and her own like abilities to navigate the Muggle world, I think would be tough for her.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, every single person that meets her on the street, she thinks she's a Midwestern tourist.
Yeah.
Not going to talk to her. Not going to get
Extremely
directions.
racist to like just humans in general.
Yeah, not going to work well. Okay, so Umbridge loses the first round of this. Great, she's
Excellent.
gone. Fantastic. And now, Brandon, hit me with another D10 roll. We can figure out what the next reality show.
The next one is 4.
4. Okay. Okay. So our remaining 10 contestants walk into a recording studio of sorts. And there's a table, and at this table, we have seated the members of the Weird Sisters Band and Celestina Warbeck. And they have instructed each person, they have to go in one by one, after talking to Ryan Seacrest, who has to be a wizard. There's like, man has not aged at all. Something is afoot. After talking to Ryan Seacrest, they realize that they are on British Idol, which is our wizarding spinoff of American Idol. The reason the Weird Sisters and Celestina Warbeck are the judges is those are the only musical people in the entire Harry
That's
Potter
true.
world.
Yeah.
That is it. They had to make up fake people. Those are made up for the movies, the Toads. Those are made up for the movies and the theme park. Like, those are not in the books. There are 2 music options, and it is the Weird Sisters and Celestina Warbeck.
I always figured that the Toads were just a play on the Toadies. Does anyone, do you know from Amarillo, Texas, the Toadies?
No.
Oh, man,
I don't know if anyone does, Brandon, but enlighten us.
Oh, well, there's nothing to tell. Have you heard of this band named Nirvana?
What are is it just like a band called the Toadies?
Yeah, they had a really big hit single, but...
What was it called? Can't be that big of a hit.
I don't know any song titles. It's not important. I just thought that they were based on the Toadies.
You know, JK probably was a huge Amarillo, Texas fan. She probably totally did. So we've had, what I have decided here, like, I think the song that they would have to sing, because there's not a lot of songs in the Wizarding world, but one of the most iconic, but maybe infamous, would be the Sorting Hat song that they have to sing. And at least
on Hot 100 all the time.
Hosted by Ryan Seacrest, who definitely is using a time turner.
So that would be my thing, is that they're here, they each have to sing this, and then they're all getting their tickets to Hollywood. What's the British version of Hollywood? Like West End?
West End,
Yeah, I guess.
They're all getting their tickets there. British
I think it's Hollywood.
They all have to sing it. One person, though, is going to get left behind.
Yeah.
Who do we think has pipes out of these people?
Hit me with those names one more time.
Harry, Draco, Albus Dumbledore, McGonagall, Sirius, Ginny, Luna, Voldemort, Hagrid, Lee Jordan.
I feel like Luna can sing.
Luna.
Yeah.
That was my first hit, yeah.
She feels like somebody who can sing.
I also want to hear the fucking Gregorian chants that Dumbledore knows.
His childhood.
He is very, very old. Yeah, I feel like Sirius, maybe it's just because of the hair of Gary Oldman, but I feel like he'd be like the one like grungy rock guy that's on every season of American Idol.
Yes,
like, that
Dave
one
Grohl.
bald guy.
He is Dave Grohl. Have you heard of this band?
From Nirvana. Dave Grohl.
That's three. I'm done.
I feel like McGonagall could bust it out.
She's probably got like a Scottish folk tune somewhere.
Voldemort is basically a theater major, so he's gonna be fine.
Wait, what Broadway hit single does he sing? I don't remember.
Voldemort? I mean, gotta be Music of the Night, right? I feel like Lucius Malfoy made Draco take singing lessons as a child.
Ooh, yeah. The person I'm worried about here is poor old Hagrid. He does not feel like the singing type. He feels like the drunken singing type.
I feel like the issue with Hagrid especially is that I don't think he could remember all the lyrics to the Sorting Hat song necessarily.
Oh, that would be...
I think that might be tough for him.
Counterpoint, TikTok sea shanty.
I don't know why I think this, but I feel like Harry canonically has a bad voice. Like I feel like is canonically tone deaf. Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
It's like when he takes the Felix Felicis and he's singing at the funeral of the spider, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's bad. I'm
Look,
so glad I'm not
that
the one
is
who remembers it.
that is reason enough for me, and I feel like Hagrid at least like could be the weird like sympathy person that gets on because he's the one half time. They're like, oh, we have to get him to the next round for ratings. So yeah, let's kick Harry to the curb. I don't care.
Yeah,
Harry
fuck you,
sucks at
Harry.
singing and he's gone.
Hagrid reminds me of the drummer on the Muppets. That's what I always think of.
Animal?
Animal. Thank
Animal,
you.
yeah.
Very good. Okay, Brandon, hit me with another D10. We can figure out what our next
It is 6.
6. Ooh, oh, yes. Okay. Our contestants find themselves in a very large ballroom. It's very dramatically lit, and there's a large runway at the end. And then from behind a curtain with a huge dramatic opening of a curtain, out struts Lucius Malfoy. Absolutely destroys the runway with a beautiful walk, gets to the end of the runway, and tells them, "Welcome to Britain's Next Top Model." Lucius Malfoy has donned the Tyra Banks mantle, and he is in charge of this.
The spiritual successor of Tyra Banks, Lucius Malfoy.
He has taken the role here, and he has informed them that they need to, bring all the smizing and fierce looks possible to this. And their challenge is that they will be working with the hair and the makeup and the clothing departments to dress up and be photographed, and whoever's the best photograph, they'll move on. They are going to be sexy, fantastic beasts.
This is a trick. They're all sexy.
So, who do we feel would be very good at being a sexy, fantastic
Who do we have
beast?
left exactly?
We've got Draco, who has to make Daddy proud.
Yeah.
We have Draco, Dumbledore, McGonagall, Sirius, Ginny, Luna, Voldemort, who would be incredible.
Yeah, that theater major helps him once
Yeah.
again.
He already is a fantastic beast.
True. He would definitely do a Nagini thing. Like, he'd do some sort of snake.
1000%.
Hagrid, and then Lee Jordan.
I mean, Hagrid has the passion for the animals,
Right.
for the beasts. I feel
Yeah.
like he would do a really
He's got like costume
great flat-ended
changes.
screw. Yes.
Yeah, he's
yeah,
got like
yeah.
4 costumes.
Hagrid as a screw would be really good. I think Luna, same thing. She knows
Yes.
so much about the beasts that she's really going to...
She'd be one of the fictional beasts that she sees in her mind.
she would go
Yeah.
full Crumplehorn Snorkax. She'd be arguing with the makeup department if they didn't do it right. No, it's not accurate.
It looks like this. It doesn't exist, Luna. So.
She grabs the brush I'll do it. Yeah, I feel like she'd be into it. I feel like Draco, again, just his
Yeah.
father putting him into acting classes, singing
Yeah, I
classes.
mean, that's just nepotism. It has to work.
Yeah, 100%.
Lucius is totally going to
He's
move
got
him
the
on.
pale cheekbones white boy thing going on that's very popular in modeling.
Dumbledore? It is. Have you
Listen,
ever
it's bad
online
Need to tell me
shopped?
something about our relationship.
Listen, modeling is a bad industry. I'm just calling it out.
Oh, yeah. The other Hagrid would also be good because he's tall. That's a big model.
That's true.
Very
yeah,
tall.
yeah, yeah.
I feel like Dumbledore would be great. He had that nicely tailored purple suit.
I feel like he'd be good at smizing.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you think McGonagall is going to be good at smizing?
I worry. Here's the people I worry about. I worry about McGonagall. I worry about Ginny. Those are the two folks I'm not feeling good about.
Yeah.
But Ginny, canonically good looking, so very easy to look like a blasphemous screw.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She'd do a hippogriff or something.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah.
Yeah. I feel I love McGonagall, but I do worry about her. Just she has no tolerance for
silliness.
For bullshit.
For
and this
vomiting.
whole show
Yeah.
is bullshit. Everything is awful. I feel like she would just have no patience for it, and she would just be like, "Look, I'm done here, folks."
She doesn't even take the stage. She just walks away.
Yeah, she'd just be criticizing the way that we depict, the human form and. Oh man!
She is a good catwalker.
That is.
But this
a
is
good
not
one.
RuPaul's Drag Race. This is America's Next Top Model, where they just have to take photos, or at
That's
least
true.
in
They're
this
not
episode.
actually walking really. They're
I don't
sort of
think. I think it's
posing.
usually photos and videos or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've only seen sparring episodes, but I think McGonagall is going to go here,
Yeah.
and maybe she spends the episode soapboxing about why the modeling industry is horrible.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
then
I
the
think she'd be very
producers are like,
critical
"Get
of
her
it."
out of there."
I think losing at a reality show is the ultimate win.
Yeah.
Yeah. The key is being likable enough, and then going home, and then getting something
Getting
as a
a book
spin-off.
deal.
Staying,
Yeah.
keeping the moral high ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do a tell-all.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Here's what it's really like in the modeling industry.
One day, someone's going to write the tell-all about The Bachelor without the fear of whatever, who's it, Fox or ABC, whoever,
don't know.
someone, they're going to get around that NDA. They're going to write the tell-all, and I will be very happy for that day. All right. So that one is now completed. Brandon, why don't you give us another D10 roll?
I'm going to roll.
Okay.
That's a 3.
Ooh. Okay. Our remaining contestants walk into a very dimly lit room, and they have to go out one by one. and there is just one person sitting in a very fancy chair with a spotlight on him, very dramatically. There's cameras going all over at different angles while he gives scowls to the camera. And we reveal that our host of this show is none other than Ludo Backman. Because he has told everyone, welcome to the British Shark Tank. Which I think is like, isn't it like Lion's Lair or Dragon's Lair or something?
Version.
Wait, really?
Yeah, the Dragon's Den.
Dragon's Den is the
Canadian
Canadian
version,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They're much nicer, and they say a boat.
Ooh. And sorry if they don't take on their.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I don't want to invest. Sorry.
Sorry if anyone came from. Did anyone come from Vancouver? So,
Hell yeah!
I'm so sorry, or sorry, or whatever. You have a lovely country, lovely city. Go Raptors! I hope you upset the Sixers. What are you guys from Philadelphia? What are you like? Now, if anyone hasn't watched Shark Tank, it's basically people just have to pitch like random inventions to Mark Cuban and some other people. And then they decide to make them or not. And then like sometimes you know about them, like, oh yeah, the Squatty Potty. And then other times nothing comes of it. I don't know. I'm not a big Shark Tank watcher.
No, you
Never
nailed
seen
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's precisely it. They say some bullshit, and then Mark Cuban gives them $1 million.
Yeah. The reason I've picked Ludo Bagman here is obviously his financial ties, but also like I'm not convinced that any of the sharks in Shark Tank like actually have money. I know. I'm pretty sure Mark Cuban does because he did buy the Dallas Mavericks.
But what has he done since then?
Yeah.
Owned the Dallas Mavericks, like, which is a great business model. Like, if you want to make a lot of money, just buy a sports team 20 years ago, or buy them now, and then like they only get worth more money. It's an incredible thing to do. Now, everybody's got to pitch different inventions here, so I think this would be a good time for a bit of a longer one. Mm-hmm. So first up, Draco Malfoy. What invention, new idea, hit app would he be pitching?
Could he come up with an idea on his own? Is the question.
So what good idea did he steal from Harry
Yeah.
earlier?
Or that his dad told him to do, or that Voldemort told him to do.
Draco, he would make like an app that is like definitely racist. Like he would be like,
He would make like Gab
So
or something.
apps. Yeah, so it would be one of those things
Some
where
kind of
it's
facial recognition technology that only recognizes white people.
yeah, it would be so. Oh no! It'd be a dating app only for purebloods.
Oh, yeah, it'd be
Yep.
like
Yeah.
Raya or something.
Was
but
was that
yes.
like wasn't there?
Yeah.
I've thankfully somehow avoided all dating apps. Like I've never downloaded a single one. I never had to deal with it. But wasn't there one where you had to like apply and like
There was
send
the
in,
League,
like,
and there was
I-
Raya.
Yeah, I lived in LA for 8 years. I know a lot of people who've used Raya.
what? Tell me
It's
about
It's
it.
like the celebrity dating app. Like
Okay.
you apply to it, and then maybe you have to be like referred, and then you get onto it, and it's like, you know, Matt Damon shows up.
Do you
I
have to-
literally had a friend who Matt Damon showed up.
Do you have to
for
have
her.
like a minimum like social media follower count? Like Twitter tells me when I try to apply for
I
verification, they're
have
like, "You're
no
not
idea."
famous enough as an independent creator." Has anyone written 3 articles about you? Like that's the other way you can do it. You're like, has a published news source written 3 articles about you in the past 6 months? No, Twitter.
podcast?
I might have a podcast.
Yeah, I
You
feel like
just
he'd make
Photoshop those,
Wizard Raya.
Yeah, and the same thing with the League. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was in New York. I don't know. Maybe that's an
Okay.
LA, New York thing, but definitely applied. Did not get in. It's all good.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I was right out of college. Didn't make any money.
Got it. Okay, I feel like that would be Draco's. Dumbledore.
I mean, has invented some stuff. So
Yeah,
there's
the
precedent.
put-outer, right?
Yeah, the put-outer.
Maybe he would just come to the put-outer, be like, "I've made this. It's a prototype. Can
It
we
takes
fund
away
it?"
lights.
Yeah, and then Ludo's like, "What about a name change? Have you considered I don't
A
know,
rebrand.
Maybe if it like instead of luminating something, the unluminator. How does that sound? And also, what if instead of just putting out lights, it's now important to the plot?
It's metaphorical light.
Yeah, so Dumbledore could just bring the put-outer.
Yeah.
Sirius.
He unfortunately was wrongly imprisoned for like a lot of his adult life, which I feel
Way
like
to
makes
bring
it-
up that, Lauren.
I mean, listen, it's canonical.
Is there something with the dad angle that's more fun?
With him being like a cool dad,
Yeah,
cool
like
uncle.
the cool hot dad, cool hot uncle.
Yeah, I do feel like he'd come up with like a fun game, you know?
Oh,
Like
maybe like a very simple board game that he used to pass the time when he was in prison.
There you go.
Wrongly
Yeah.
imprisoned for years and years.
Like, it's just like one of those very simple board games. Like, have either of you played Jungle Speed before? It is a German.
What
It is
is
so. It is a
that?
German board game.
That's a drug, Mike.
No. It is a German board game that I have never actually played, but my German boss at my engineering internship in college told me about it. He was also the first person ever to tell me about Settlers of Catan. But he said that there was this game called Jungle Speed, and if any German listeners are going to correct me, like I'm going to get this wrong. But the concept, I believe, is that there's like a wooden baton like in the middle of the table, and then there's like a deck of cards, and then depending on like what cards get flipped, certain people are allowed to like try to grab the baton like in the middle of the table, and then if you like successfully grab it, like you get a point. If you like grab it but you like knock it over,
Kinda like
there's
Spoons
like penalties.
almost. Do you ever play Spoons, the card
Oh,
game?
I remember Spoons.
like that. Or did anyone ever play Hands Down?
Yes.
Where you had the like plastic thing that you slap down. It was basically like Old Maid, but instead of giving your card away, you'd have to slap like a hand, and then it would be like a plastic version of like like that,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
going, and then whoever was like the slowest person like had to pick up the cards that were matched or whatever. You could pump fake and stuff. Hands Down was some good stuff.
So serious events, hands down.
11-year-old Mike was a terror, wasn't he?
Oh, 11-year-old Mike cheated in every board game possible. 11-year-old Mike would play Battleship against his older sister Megan in front of like the old TV where you could like see through the reflection and be like, C4?
Good strategy.
I mean, yeah.
She listening to this right now. Does she know already?
Oh, she knew I cheated.
Okay.
Yeah. It got kicked out of me early on, but I love to cheat. I just like winning a lot. Yeah, some sort of like simple, easy board game. Ginny Weasley. Did she invent the bat bogey hex? Because like we also can get like very wizardy with this.
That's true.
Yeah.
She kind of mastered. Like she's very what she applies herself to. I feel like she's very good at.
The problem is, can you invest wizard money into a hex? You know, like into a thing?
Right.
That's a good point.
You know?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean research kind of maybe. Like is it how are spells made? That's not really something
don't
that's ever
know.
got
Maybe
into.
Ginny does like wizarding masterclass where she like sets up a service where
I
she
like
can
that
teach
a lot.
you.
I love that.
Like and she it can all be the different Ginny skills. Like here's how to do the bat bogey hex. Here's how to insult your brother.
Yeah.
If he makes fun of you for making out with someone in the hallway.
Here's how to fly good.
Right, yeah. Here's how to fly good. Here's how to do a cool Spider-Man breakup with Harry. Or I guess like how to not accept a Spider-Man breakup from Harry. So yeah, that could be
Her
Ginny's.
and Ron Howard on the match.
All you would ever need to know.
Luna, I feel like has got to be something magical,
wacky and
beast,
cool.
Something that is like looks magical, but actually isn't. You know, like something like astrology or something, like an astrology map.
that, or she had the really cool lion hat, so maybe she just like
Yeah.
invents cool clothes because sometimes
That's
they
Oh,
do
I
that
could,
on
yeah, I
Shark
could see her
Tank.
being like a utility fashion designer, like those like clothes that like also do things.
Ooh.
You know, it's like got lots
What
of
do they
pockets
do?
or something.
they-
They do your taxes.
I can't think of one off the top. The closest thing I can think of is that when we went up to Montreal when Kelly's sister had a baby.
Shout out Canada.
Yep. Woohoo! One of the other cities. They
I'm so sorry.
they had like newborn little baby in like one of those like it was like a big like swaddling type thing, but it was like you could do it in different shapes based on like how large the baby was, so like you could adjust it and all of that. It was very cool is that Josh, the dad, was able to like wrap the baby like very close to his chest and stuff, and then still play board games with us at night, which was very fun. So it's just like we'd be playing like Betrayal at the House on the Hill while baby is here, and it's like, oh, the evil werewolf is attacking. Oh, everything okay, baby? Good. Okay. So yeah, I think functional fashion.
yeah, functional fashion. I love
What's
that.
Voldemort? I'm worried about Voldemort. I feel
Why?
because I guess that I feel like he would just use this as a way to try to like recruit evil people, and not actually have an invention.
Yeah.
He has
yeah.
a dating app.
What's like the wizard version of like the A bomb? Like I feel like that's like,
Oh know. Yeah, I think it would just be some evil
It'd
scheme.
be very bad.
Yeah.
It would be very bad.
Hagrid would be. It would be like.
He's got the umbrella wand. I mean, it's not really like an
that's-
invention. It's more of a combination of items.
But that's an invention. You could invest money in that.
And
yeah,
it's-
and
it
then
has an
motorbike
audience.
and yeah. I
No.
feel like he's good at putting Muggle things together with wizard things. There's
Right.
something
Yeah.
in that.
Could be good for people who need to be incognito or
Right.
anything. I think that works. And then Lee Jordan, he's crafty with pranks. He's funny. No matter what he invents, I feel like he could sales pitch it well
he could
enough.
sell it.
Where he could like BS his way to where Ludo's like, yeah, I'm picking up what this guy's putting down. I worry about Voldemort here.
I feel like
don't
it's
think.
Voldemort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think it would go very well. He would just like do some evil thing, and then Ludo would be like, "What's the pitch? Kill all the Muggles?
How do I put money into that? I don't.
If we're killing people, aren't those potential customers?"
You're lowering the market.
Okay, Brandon, why don't you hit me with another roll?
Okay.
Suspense is electric.
Is a 1.
Oh, great. Okay, cool. This will be a great one to end Act 1 on. So, again, all of our characters are blindfolded. But this time, they wake up in a dilapidated, abandoned bathroom.
God.
And there's an old...
You know, like a reality show.
There's an old TV...
Project Runway.
Tim Gunn enters. There's an old TV in the corner, and it hazes and does the snow thing and then flickers on. And a very creepy voice, clearly altered to sound deeper, goes, "Do you want to play a game?" But immediately after being this creepy voice, the DP voice, there's a bug in the voice modulation system. And instead we realize that this is not Jigsaw, but instead it's Dobby the house elf. And what we have here, all of our contestants have found themselves in Saw. But it's
You know that classic reality show, Saw?
Hey, you rolled the one.
You know that was real?
We have the one, the one critical failure. They end up in Saw, but it's run by Dobby. So because it's run by Dobby, the stakes are incredibly low. No one is going to die. So what happens here is that everyone is actually strapped to some sort of device that instead of doing something weird and gruesome, I'm a huge horror movie baby. I've only seen the first Saw movie because I heard it was the least gruesome.
I haven't even seen that.
No,
Yeah,
you could not pay me.
It's honestly like not that bad, but the other ones are like way different where they have all the like weird gambit, blah, blah, blah. But instead, everyone is strapped to a machine that instead of doing something like gruesome to them, is going to slowly put socks on their feet. And the socks aren't mismatched. Ah! This is Dobby's big, scary thing that he's doing to everyone. I also think just for fun, everyone has a big thing of pudding floating above their head. And if the socks do successfully get on their feet, if they don't solve the mystery code, whatever, to break free, he drops pudding on their head. And then you lose.
Everyone purposely fails because they want to eat the
They want
pudding.
pudding. I will. What were you gonna say?
Look up and open your mouth and wait for the pudding.
Yeah, and I was in India, and because of imperialism, they do the thing where pudding doesn't mean like Jell-O pudding; it means just like various desserts. And let me tell you, some of the pudding over there was great. One of the puddings there was donut pudding, so it was like
What?
bread,
Good, yes.
bread pudding made out of donuts.
I
want
have to
eat that.
leave.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fly to Goa. Talk to me in 24 hours. Tell me how good it is. It's incredible. So I had some good pudding. Now, usually in Saw, what I'm guessing, I don't know if anyone here speaks Saw heads, jigsaws.
Canada?
Sawies, Canada, are you the... I feel like it's just like various like some sort of like mind tricky, like you got to figure out a way how to break it through. From the folks who are left, we've got Draco, Dumbledore, Sirius, Ginny, Luna, Hagrid, Lee Jordan. Who do we think is like crafty and basically could do like normally in Saw a high stakes escape room, in this case, incredibly low stakes escape room.
Is there a way that Hagrid can just like brute strength out of this?
I was going to say he's so not dexterous that there's no way he'd be
Right,
able to
but
get out
like
of
this, the whole thing was set up by a house elf. Can he just like stand up and break all of his restraints?
I'm gonna say that Dobby, like I think he goes he's so dedicated to making it work.
But the knots are like tiny and perfect.
Everything is perfect except for the fact that like the stakes are socks are on your feet and pudding is on your head. Like, but everything else is like to a T, and it's run a very tight ship.
Do we think that Hagrid can reach his toes? I am not sure.
He is very
How
tall.
flexible is he? I feel like no brainer Sirius is getting out of this. He broke out of Azkaban. I think he can break out of Dobby the House Elf.
Yeah. I feel like Dumbledore too. This is
Yeah.
probably pretty low stakes with everything he's done.
Right.
I do feel like Luna would just lean into it. I think she'd be happy with the socks and the pudding.
She just like would be
She'd be like, oh, great new socks.
I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, Draco, I feel like he's the one kid who like knows about like handcuffs and stuff. Like that weird like punk
Mike,
kid.
do you think Draco's a pervert?
No, I just think he's like a like
He's
he
like learned how to like pick locks and
yeah,
stuff.
like he's
Yeah,
the like
pervert.
he like shops in Hot Topic and like knows all the weird like
Like
that
they're
kind of stuff.
edgy.
Yeah, he's edgy. He knows
Yeah,
about that
perfect.
Lee Jordan, similarly, I think like knowing pranks and stuff, like he could get out of like tricky situations. And Fred and George were so good at picking locks that I feel like
there's no
they
chance.
would definitely teach him how to pick locks.
They'd already be in like the chamber with Dobby, just like before the game even started.
yeah. Lee pops up on the screen. Hey, what's up? I do want to play a game. Want to play some Quidditch? Ginny, same thing. Fred and George have taught her how to pick locks, or she like stole their lock picking book and then she learned on her own how to do it. So that, yeah, I think that only leaves Luna. I think, but like not in a bad way.
No,
I think
like,
she's
she
just
wouldn't
like,
lose. She would just enjoy it.
Is it one of those things when everyone like has left the events and it's just Luna in there? She's just eating pudding.
yeah. She like
eating everyone else's
Pulling
pudding.
everybody's buckets down.
She has 30 socks on.
she finds a way to like use magic to make all of the pudding like come to her, all of the socks on her, and then she leaves like ear to ear smile with
So happy.
however many new pairs of socks. Even like the Hagrid socks don't fit her, but she's like, now I have a cool knapsack. Like, yeah. Luna loses bet is a great time. And I think this has happened in a lot of the reality show things where anytime Luna loses in one of these, she goes out having a great time.
Yeah,
Which is great. She's never won any of the ones that we've done here, but she's never lost.
She knows how to make the most of a bad situation.
She truly, truly does. Okay, so we'll do one more and then we'll cut to intermission.
Nothing's happy during intermission. I don't know why.
We're leaving and then coming back. Whoa! So yeah, hit me with one more roll.
Okay, I got a 10.
A 10. Oh, good.
Hot and cold, baby.
All right. Yeah, no, this is the exact shot chaser to Saw. So,
In this one, everyone does get their limbs cut off.
so all of our contestants walk out. It's beautiful scenery. There's a meadow and a babbling brook and forests and bushes, and it's very green. And they walk into a tent. And it's the summer for some reason, because they always do this one in the summer, and then they complain about the heat inevitably. But they're in the tent, and in front of them, they have Madame Puttyfoot and Aberforth Dumbledore. And they have told them that they are here at the Great Wizarding British Bake Off. So Madame Puttyfoot is playing the role of Mary Berry.
Can we call it pudding foot, right?
Pudding
Pudding foot? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was obvious. I mean,
And Aberforth Dumbledore, obviously the grumpiest boy, has to be Paul Hollywood, the grumpiest boy. And then you might be wondering, well, who's playing the role of Noel Fielding? Peeves the Poltergeist, obviously.
I thought it was going to be Noel because he is a ghost
I
wizard.
mean, yeah, it could just be
That's true.
Peeves and Noel. And Noel, because that man is a wizard. If you want proof that Noel Fielding is a wizard, watch season 4 of Taskmaster, where he's good at everything.
Yes.
It is
Yes.
unfair. Noel Fielding is good at everything.
Oh, we should have done Taskmaster.
Ah, damn it, next time. Honestly, we could do a whole British Taskmaster,
Oh, God.
future live show episode, Wizarding Taskmaster.
I would love that.
Noel Fielding being good at everything was like truly athletics, drawing, art, not looking like he's 47 years old.
Being cool as hell on stage.
Yeah.
Like,
outfits,
Always being the funniest guy in the
hair,
room.
doing it all in heeled boots.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So
Incredible.
they've got to bake various things. And as we always have here at the Great British Bake Off, we've got 3 separate rounds. First, you got the signature, which they know in advance, they get to prepare. And it's not like as intense as the showstopper.
says the guy who hasn't been on the show.
I've not been on the show. I have watched a lot of the show. So for the signature, thinking classic dish, they're making cauldron cakes. quality stuff. You can get fun with it. You can play with different fillings. Like you can get loose with it. They get a little flexible. The technical is always something that is just like it's true to form. You got to bake this, and then the directions are incredibly unhelpful. It's like make the
Thing.
the coating,
Make it. Just make
bake the coating, bake the filling, bake. You're done. Eat. Thanks, Paul Hollywood. Eat. Make sure it's not too spicy so Paul Hollywood doesn't complain.
Make sure you don't even look at a chili.
Put a lot of gin in it to make Mary happy.
There was one time where I forget who it was, but I believe it was an Indian woman made a dish, like a savory dish, and Paul Hollywood was like, "This is too spicy." And I'm like, "Are you sure you're not just too white, Paul?" Like, I trust her, not you.
100% that is the
Yes, absolutely.
I lost all respect for him when he wouldn't eat gherkin pickles when someone was doing a hamburger thing.
Oh, that's
Like,
right. He hates gherkins.
It's like, dude,
Yeah.
eat a. You're a food
You're a-
judge. Eat
you're
a
a chef.
fucking
Come on.
pickle. Like, come on. And then someone did it. He was like, "Oh, it's too dry." Yeah, because it's supposed to have a pickle in it. Fucking Paul, man. The technical challenge. They've got to make a treacle tart. Straight to the point. I thought this was a wizarding thing. It's actually just a British food technical challenge. Ready to go. And then the showstopper, it gets a little more funky in the mix. They need to do whatever their inspiration is of doing some sort of presentation inspired by Birdie Bot's Every Flavor Beans. So they can make different
Vomit
flavored
tart.
whatever. Yeah, like they can get funky with it. So the folks we've got left, Draco, Dumbledore, Sirius, Ginny, Hagrid, Lee Jordan. They've got to bake all these different things. How do we think they're doing?
I mean, there's no question that Lee Jordan nails this, right? Like, Lee
Yeah.
Jordan is the star of this season.
I think he'd be very, very good.
Yeah.
Fan favorite. We have to acknowledge that Hagrid is
Yeah.
canonically extremely bad at baking.
Right. Canonically, his signature dish is rock cakes, which
Do you
not.
see anyone
can
else
chip
bake
a
a
tooth.
cake, though, in the books?
I mean,
We see them
Molly
eating.
cooks food.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
okay.
Molly's good.
At least Hagrid has practice, you know? Maybe he's tried a lot.
But he still can chip a tooth on his
Yes.
his bakes.
Yes.
I feel like Ginny would be good because I feel like Molly would have taught Ginny
Yeah.
how to cook, how to bake, etc. Dumbledore loves sweets and desserts, so I feel
That's
like he
true,
would be
yeah.
good at it.
I feel like he would take, like, twice the time, though, to finish one cake. I don't know.
I feel like he'd take a really, really long time, and there would be like, the 5-minute call, and he would have nothing done, and then he would just wave his hands, and it would be finished.
That's called
and
cheating.
perfect. Well, are they allowed to use magic?
It would have to be like a limited situation.
yeah.
Like you could only use it for certain things. Like I think you still have to use an oven, but maybe you can use magic for like the slicing and the mixing of it all. But yeah, you can't just be like internal temperature.
Yeah.
That classic spell.
Classic spell. Yeah, so
So Sirius and Draco are the only two.
Sirius, Draco, Hagrid are the folks we're worried about.
Yeah.
I feel like Sirius could pull it out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know?
I worry about Draco here because
He's an idiot.
I just feel like of all the things that Lucius would teach him, I don't think baking and cooking is one of them. I feel like Lucius would be like, "You have servants make you food."
I also feel like in order to succeed at the Great British Bake Off, you need to be able to enjoy things.
Oh,
and,
you have
feel
to be
some sense of
nice.
happiness,
Yeah,
you know?
yes. Oh,
And it's just like
God.
he's so.
He's the only evil person left. Yeah, he's the
yeah,
antithesis to the show. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, yeah. And as he gets kicked off, he says, "My father will hear about this." Yeah. Yeah. Draco's gone. Okay, great. Perfect.
I saved my boy Hagrid.
Yeah. I mean, Hagrid at least has cooked before. It'd be one of those things where they have to they're like, "Oh, the flavor's horrible, but the consistency's really good."
And you know what saves him is that he does perfectly in the technical challenge for some reason.
Just nails the treacle
Following the
tart.
directions just a little bit. He's like, okay, I get it.
Okay, so at this point now we get to intermission brought to you by me, Editing Mike. How's it going, everybody?
Whoa, wait up a second there, past Editing Mike. It's me, present Editing Mike, and I take precedent here because I'm in charge of the editing now, and I'm here to get into Wingardium Adridosa. In the intro of today's episode, I talked about the fact that I'm playing Dungeons & Dragons now on a regular basis on a stream with other podcasters. They're all wonderful people, and this stream is called 20 to Midnight. It is a D&D 5e campaign where we, as the heroes, are on a race against the clock to save the world. It is DM'd by Gabrielle Urbina, and the players, aside from me, are Emma Sherjarko and Beth Eyre. You might know these folks from various audio dramas such as Wolf Through 59, 0 Hours, Wooden Overcoats, and more. It has been so much fun. It's been an absolute blast. If you go to our website, 22midnight.com, 20tomidnight.com, you can see all the stuff we're doing. We stream every other Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. You can watch replays of the streams we've done so far on our YouTube channel, and some of the replays are on Twitch as well. And you can support our Patreon to get a bunch of extra goodies. If you go to patreon.com/20tomidnight, lots of fun stuff. It's so much fun. I'm playing a bard. I'm having the time of my life, and you can check that out on our website, 20tomidnight.com. And now you're going to hear words from a few sponsors who make it feasible for me to be a full-time podcaster. Some of these ads will be read by me, others of them won't. The ones that are not read by me are inserted locally. So if you live in Finland, don't be surprised if you hear an ad for some really warm jackets. I'm sure it's quite cold up there this time of year, so bundle up, folks. But once those ads are complete, we'll get back to this episode of Potterless.
All right, now, to recap, the folks we have left are Dumbledore, Sirius, Ginny, Hagrid, and Lee Jordan.
Interesting bunch.
And we've got 4 very different reality shows left. So, Brandon, why don't you roll me a D4? It's a Dungeons & Dragons show now.
I was literally about to say I had to teach Mike what dice were before we got on stage.
I didn't know that D10s were a thing. I was like, it just goes 4, 6, 20, right?
It's a 3.
That's a 3. Okay. Ooh. Good. Our competitors find themselves in a room completely surrounded with chrome steelish walls, tile floor, big open air space, but still indoors. In front of them are 2 folks with incredibly smirky smirks on their faces, just the wryest of smiles. And they are also wearing aprons. And these 2 folks are Fred and George Weasley. And they have welcomed everyone into the British Cutthroat Kitchen. Now, if you all have not seen Cutthroat Kitchen on the Food Network, it is basically Alton Brown fucking with people. And it's great. It is a show where basically you are supposed to cook stuff, and then various things happen that make the cooking harder. What happens is they have something that they got to cook. They have to go into a little tiny grocery store to go shopping. If you get trapped in the grocery store because they close the doors, if you
die.
Yeah, you die. You have to pay your way out with some of your groceries. Then there is a bidding war for things that either make your cooking life easier or your competitors' cooking lives harder, or sometimes at the same time. So there's one where it's your competitors have to cook using an easy bake oven, or your competitors have to wear boxing gloves the whole time, or your eggs are only going to be hard boiled, or whatever. So this just felt like the most Fred and George thing possible, constantly messing with people. They're going to cook just a very standard kind of thing. Pumpkin pasties is what they're cooking. What I learned from doing the food bracket episode is that they eat pumpkin pasties a lot in Harry Potter. A whole lot. I also learned that J.K. Rowling, as the books went on, described the food less and less. The first book, The Welcoming Feast, it's there was this and Cornish hens and hash and vegetables. And then at the Sorting Feast in book 5, it's they had a great feast. She was I'm tired of food.
If you had to fill 400 pages, you'd do the same thing.
Yeah, maybe she was I need to write a whole thing about them cleaning. I can't talk about food. We've got Dumbledore, Sirius, Ginny, Hagrid, Lee Jordan. Let's set the stage here. They have to cook pumpkin pasties. What kind of hijinks do you think Fred and George would have them bid on?
The one that came to mind, it was the puking pastels or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, give those to a competitor. They got a lot to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing I do worry here is that the way this game works, when it's Cutthroat Kitchen, is you have money and then you can bet on these things. And if you use the money on that, it's less money in the prize money that you take home. I do feel if they go to Ginny, the Ron principle, that Ginny would have to give twice as much money as all the other competitors to get these things because she's her sister and she gets the opposite of a loyalty discount. So that does worry me, but I do trust Ginny's cooking ability because Molly the Goat.
Yeah. This is tough because I feel like everybody here would actually be very good at sabotage and would be very good at sort of the mental chess game of trying to throw other people off.
Lee Jordan especially.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to do it while you're on a broom or hanging upside down from a broom.
Right. Here's what I'm
You can only use a broom to cook.
The room has to be in the food.
Of the folks remaining, we've already identified Hagrid canonically not good at cooking. I feel like Hagrid cooking in a stressful situation, not
Especially pastry.
yeah, pastry.
He's gonna get stuck in that grocery store.
Right, he's so big.
he
I feel
is.
like for the things they make you do at Cutthroat Kitchen, like you have to use a really large whisk, or you can only use like tiny little things. Like I feel like it's gonna be hard for Hagrid.
For him, they're like, you have to use a regular ass whisk.
It's like, oh no, no! What is this toothpick I'm stirring with? Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
Hagrid.
he's not dexterous.
No, I feel like Hagrid's not going to survive the Cutthroat Kitchen of
Yeah.
Fred and George.
Yeah.
Other things that they would do to mess with people, like what's the thing that made Dudley's tongue really big?
Yeah, I feel like also
thank you, the tongue toffee.
there would be an ingredient that like is very appealing that somebody gets that actually just explodes. Like, when you
Yeah,
try to,
oh,
like,
yeah.
cook it.
Right,
You know, it
yeah,
just turns
yeah.
into fireworks.
Right, it's got the like decoy detonator is just
Yes, yeah.
inside the loaf of bread. Like you
And the
slice
pumpkin
it,
just,
and
like,
it's yeah.
is a bomb.
Yes, it would be inside the pumpkin. Right, that would be the thing. It'd be like something. It would be some sort of thing where it's like, you know, one of these 4 pumpkins has a decoy detonator in it. If you pay the most money, we'll give you one that does not have a detonator in it.
Or you have a choice of like pumpkins or jack-o'-lanterns. And obviously the jack-o'-lanterns are less appealing because they're like their guts have been taken out.
Right,
but
right.
They're
the pumpkins-
jack-o'-lanterns from January.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right, so Hagrid does not make it to the Cutthroat Kitchen. A sad one. Okay, but now hit me with another roll of the old D4.
All right, this one goes out to my boy Hagrid.
Yeah, pour one out.
It's a 1.
It's a 1. Okay. All right. So our competitors find themselves. I know this isn't every task on this reality show, but I just imagine them. They're on like a really tall thing of scaffolding, and it's night, and there's strobe lights everywhere, and everything is painted in the black and yellow color scheme with cool, edgy font because they've been greeted by their host, Zachariah Smith, who has welcomed them to British Fear Factor. And I assume because it's British, it's like Factor, F-A-C-T-R-E. Now, I've picked Zachariah Smith here because if anyone didn't watch Fear Factor, that is what Joe Rogan was first famous for. Hosting this. Yeah, yes, thank you. Thank you for booing that garbage human being. But Zachariah Smith felt like the person most likely to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast. So I made him the stand-in for Joe Rogan here at Fear Factor. Fear Factor, if you never watched, they just have to like do some scary stuff, and if you made it through, you won some money. And it was either something like heights, a lot of heights related things, or you had to like eat gross stuff. So along the lines of eating gross stuff, they have to eat like a bunch of flobber worms. Just felt like the grossest beast that like wasn't sentient enough where we feel bad about it. Is kind of where I landed.
Now, yeah, when we were in the writer's room, I did suggest the Mandrake.
Yeah. Felt a
Mike
little bit.
didn't like that. Lauren didn't like that.
Lauren pointed out that it is just like a human plant. Like it's
Yeah.
it's a plant, baby.
I thought that would be really scary for Fear Factor, but whatever.
It's too bad that Hagrid got eliminated. I feel like he would have thrived in this, you know?
Or he would have
felt bad.
refused to
That's true,
eat
he would have
it. So he
refused,
would have
yeah.
lost, so it's okay. But we've got Dumbledore, Sirius, Ginny, Lee Jordan.
They used to have a Fear Factor ride at Universal Studios, if anyone remembers
Really?
this.
And it's a ride, not
It-
just like
well, it
an
was an
interactive thing?
experience.
Okay.
And my brother got to go on it. So I want to pitch my brother in this bracket. Okay. Seth Grugle. I think he will win.
What did he have to do at the Universal Studios? Did he have to like eat like crickets or something?
He didn't have to. Well, actually, they did do like a cricket shake, I think. But
Crickets are not that bad. Can't you get them at Seattle Mariners
we had
games?
them with
Right?
tacos.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
the thing?
we've had cricket tacos
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. But the big thing he had to do was like he had like a stationary bike and some kind of like thing on his back that would like attract electricity. It was like a Tesla coil type thing, and it would shock him.
What? This
Would be,
is
like-
legal?
And he said it was real. Like obviously it didn't hurt very badly.
Sure, but
like
still.
yeah.
Do you have to sign like a liability waiver?
Oh,
or something?
absolutely. Yeah. My brother's dead.
He is not. He is not.
No, he's dead.
I do feel like we should acknowledge that like Albus Dumbledore has basically done Fear Factor.
Yeah, he did the
Like,
death juice
yeah.
in the cave.
And also
He's
Sirius
fine.
Black also
yeah.
I feel like has sort of been through Fear Factor.
It's Ginny and Lee.
Or do you think prison is Fear Factor?
I'm saying that he's experienced a lot of very dark stuff.
He's been through like the factor of fear, which is the Dementors. Like
also,
he's
like
done.
beyond that, like he's had to like
You
deal
can't
with his
climb your way
werewolf-
out of this.
I feel like of the folks left, I don't think Lee Jordan would do the best
Yeah.
here. You can't like quirkily hijinks your way out of something that's gross. And if you think eating flopperums is gross, you're going to think it's gross. Ginny is like, Fred and George have done this to her.
Yeah.
She's like, this is nothing. This is
a Tuesday.
Nothing. Yeah, this is an appetizer. Like, this is fine. I don't think Lee Jordan does well here.
I
And
agree.
He's grossed out, doesn't make it through. Okay, so another D4 roll, please, Brandon.
Remember when Lauren said that prison was Fear Factor?
Don't you put words in my mouth.
Did we already do 3?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We either need a 2 or a 4.
I rolled a 2.
Perfect. So, what we've got here, it is outdoor. It is nighttime. There are, again, strobe lights everywhere. I mean, I've realized that reality TV shows love spotlights and strobe lights.
That's true.
There's spotlights all over the place. There is a grandstand full of people cheering, and our host enters the fray here. Now, normally this would be in some sort of like industrial complex, but this one takes place in the Forbidden Forest, but still set up with all sorts of lights and all that stuff. Victor Crumb comes out wearing a very skinny tank top. Yeah. I've seen Stanislav, the actor's muscles, like this far apart. Enormous. Also, he's the nicest guy. He's so nice. He is here because the show that they are competing on is British Ninja Warrior. So this is the Wizarding version of American Ninja Warrior. I don't know if there's regular Ninja Warrior. I don't know if it's like...
Probably from, I think it's from
I would
Japan,
assume it's
Yeah.
from Japan, like they did with...
I do think it is
like,
based on a-
what's the Iron Chef? And then they did Iron Chef America.
Right.
Right.
You want to talk about a good show. Original Iron Chef. Oh, God.
Yeah.
When they like bring up Marimoto from the ground. Incredible.
That's just where he lives.
If anyone is foolish enough to challenge him, incredible. So, British
He's frozen in carbonite until he's challenged.
British Ninja Warrior, it's a whole like acrobatic, they've got to do rope climbs and, tire swing and running up like the human half pipe and all these ridiculous things. Shout out to Kelly. She came up with a wonderful idea for this, that it's not just a, jungle gym type acrobatic setup, but it is set designed by Gilderoy Lockhart, who has modeled this after one of his wonderful adventures that definitely took place.
Very true.
Where he had to fight some sort of werewolf because what was he like, wizarding with werewolves? He was all alliteration, right?
Yeah.
So he's done some sort of big physical challenge thing based off this, and it's all in the Forbidden Forest, and they've got things they got to do. There's a broom segment, there's going through water and all this kind of stuff. We've got Dumbledore, Sirius, and Ginny left. I feel like old man Dumbledore is not looking good for the physical prowess challenge.
Ginny would kill this.
Ginny would
she would do
absolutely,
a great job.
and she would like joke in between the things because like it's like a set of stuff, and usually have like a little bit of chill time in between. Like I feel like she'd crack a joke at the beginning of every single thing, or like do one-handed when she didn't need to.
Yeah. There's definitely like one where you're hanging on a monkey bar and you're just like entertaining the crowd while you're doing it.
Yeah. Here's the question. Do we think that Sirius is allowed to transform into his dog form to do some of the challenges?
I mean, yeah.
Right?
Like, it's
Yeah.
not a wand.
Right.
And if we've learned anything from wizarding stuff, like,
They're all cheaters.
They're all cheaters. The security's very lax.
They're not signing a liability waiver, that's for sure.
Not at all. So, yeah, I feel like Dumbledore is very crafty,
Yeah.
but this is a physical challenge thing. Sirius is spry. Like, he was the type to do, like, prison pull-ups for, his years of waiting.
I also do think having 4 legs would be an advantage.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think pull-ups are just pull-ups.
So I feel like those two go on. Dumbledore does not make it through.
I mean, his name is almost Stumbledore, so
Is what?
almost Stumbledore.
Oh,
true.
almost. I thought you mispronounced Albus really badly.
Albus
Yeah,
Dumbledore,
but no.
otherwise known as almost Stumbledore.
Stumbledore. That is very good. All right, so he loses, and now we can get on to the final remaining show, which I'm very excited about. So they find themselves in a studio. Big catwalk. This person struts down the catwalk. They're all seated around. And the person who struts down is Madame Malkin, because we are here for Wizarding Project Runway. Very excited that the random number gods of dice rolls allowed this to be the final selection here. But what we have here is Madame Malkin playing the role of Heidi Klum, who is wonderful in her role as host in Project Runway. Phenomenal. Great stuff. Now, we need a Tim Gunn stand-in as well. Tim Gunn, if anyone hasn't watched Project Runway, Heidi Klum's a famous model. She doesn't do much except just like set forth the challenge and then just tell people either you're in or you're out if they lose. Which is great. Like that was you could tell like Bravo like nailed it with the first one, and then every other reality TV show they did was not good. Like when they released Top Chef afterwards, and they were like, "We need a cool line. What do we do?" And then Padma Lakshmi's like, "Pack up your knives and go." Like, okay, Padma. Like, nothing is better with "I'm sorry, but you're out." Like, cannot top it.
Simple, perfect.
Just got it on the first try. Should have retired. So. We need a Tim Gunn stand-in. Tim Gunn, I don't know what his life was before Project Runway. I don't know what he did, but he's just like this very nice old man.
He worked in fashion.
Yeah. I don't know like what role. Like I don't know if he was a designer, if he was like
I'm not sure.
a critic or something maybe?
Right. Like I don't know where he
Journalist?
fell. I should know more because he's perfect. He's just this nice old man that like comes in and with this wonderful dad energy, like does the good job of like making sure everyone is okay. And does this great thing of if someone's like clearly doing something in the wrong direction, like that's when he'll kind of butt in and be like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And he always comes in and is like, "Designers." Like he's Tim Gunn. Who we have for the Tim Gunn stand-in here is that guy who liked dresses at the World Cup. I don't know if this guy ever got a name, but the guy who liked the breeze in his legs, he is Tim Gunn. Because this guy clearly just... I'm glad this guy's getting a round of applause. This nameless dude. But he just... Archie?
Archie.
Okay.
Oh,
Archie,
yeah, that
thank
sounds
you.
familiar.
Shout out
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Archie. He just has a passion for fashion, and he would be the
get
Tim
that.
Gunn character, just like a wonderful guy. Now, in addition to this, you need judges. And the judges you have here, you had like in the early seasons, like I think it was always Michael Kors
Yep.
and Nina Garcia, and then a different person who sometimes was in fashion or sometimes was just like...
A celebrity who likes
Yeah,
fashion.
Reese Witherspoon is here. But Michael Kors was always very funny because this whole show was like no one pulled their punches, and that's what made it the great show. Like if they didn't like something, it'd be great. And all of my impressions are just like what Santino Rice, one of the competitors in season 2, he did impressions of everyone. And his impression of what Michael Kors was on the show is he said, "It looks like a baboon's ass exploded on her backside." and Nina Garcia was just like, she was like, would talk as if she liked it. She'd be like, "Oh yeah, I like this, I like that, but I didn't think it was very good." It's like, what? Like you were just saying nice things. But yeah, they held nothing back. Perfect show. The season 2 of Project Runway. You gotta watch it. Bravo's not paying me any money. They should be. Come through, Andy Cohen. Pay me some money. But the stand-in that I have for the judges here. First, we've got Bob Ogden, fashion icon, who wore a striped one-piece bathing suit and a trench coat.
Incredible.
Perfect. No notes. We've also got Daedalus Diggle, who was really into... When we were reading, he's like really into wearing clothes at some point.
He has like a very specific like purple suit, I think, and top hat.
Purple
and like
hat, yeah.
And when he wears Muggle clothes, he like doesn't really understand how to put the outfits together, and so they come out kind of odd in like a fun way.
Right. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Daedalus Diggle. It's his daughter's in the crowd. And then finally, Madame Maxine, just because she just French obviously is a huge play, but she like you always got to have some sort of international flavor.
Yeah.
And she also like at least in the movies like big jacket, like wore like really nice stuff, all the different furs. These are the judges that they have to impress. Now the challenge laid forth here by Madame Malkin is that they need to design the new Hogwarts school uniform. We've had the same look for long enough. We still don't know if they wear clothes under the robes or not. No one will ever
for you
learn.
to decide.
No one will ever determine if this is the case. But they've got to redesign it. Sirius and Ginny, what are they bringing to the table here in terms of design?
Has anyone ever considered that it's like a tight onesie with a cape style like attached? The robe just like you put on the onesie and then the robe just like flows down over you.
Oh, you're saying this is the potential of the answering of
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
got built. It's like I played tennis and like tennis shorts have like built-in compression.
Yeah,
in
but
them.
all of it.
So you're
Like
wearing
tennis shorts, but all of it.
Like,
you're
like
wearing
a cat suit with a cape.
FroZone super suit underneath. Underneath a big old. I mean, maybe that's what one of these competitors makes. You could be onto something here. What's great is I don't think either of these folks have a passion for fashion,
No.
which is going to make this more fun. Now, Sirius.
I feel like when we see like photos of Sirius when he was a teenager and in school and stuff, he like had like a cool jacket. Like I that might just be a thing that like the fandom sort of made. But
could
like
be.
I feel like that's in my head of what Sirius was like.
Sirius could be wearing the school robes, but then like a leather jacket over it.
Right. Yeah.
the
And
whole
it's
time.
attached to the robe, so it's all one.
Right. He's found a way to get around the dress code in a way that isn't like breaking the dress code, which happened in my high school where I didn't have a uniform, but I had a dress code. Went to an all boys Catholic school where you had to, we talked about it earlier in the show. We had to wear like khakis and some sort of like leather shoe, and then you had to wear a collared
leather
shirt.
shoes?
Or not, it had to be some sort of like
Like not
a way to
sneakers.
not be a sneaker. So you could
Yeah.
wear like a boat shoe.
No
or,
Velcro.
Yeah. Like it had to be. And like people would do different things. And then we had a handbook. And like each year in the dress code thing, they would like add new sub bullets into like what you can't wear. Like people were wearing like soccer jerseys that had collars on them. And they were like, that doesn't count. Like you can't wear this Real Madrid shirt that has like a slight collar on it. Like they had to find new things every year. So I feel like Sirius would be that kid to get around it, doing like little quirky
Yeah.
things.
I do think that Jenny also has the advantage of being a student most recently.
That's true.
So she knows the ins and outs of what, the demands of a student uniform is.
Right, right.
I do feel like Sirius would go for like the like fashionable, cool version, and Ginny would go for utility. And there's always one person on Project Runway who goes for something like really bombastic or very cool that like ends up like the shorts are way too short, or like the
Right.
jacket kind of doesn't like close. It doesn't really like work as a functional piece of clothing.
Another thing that was always really dramatic in Project Runway is that they would like pick the different models, and they would have like draft picks for the models. And they would like
Yes.
switch it up. Like you get to keep your model, or you'd have to like switch them after a couple episodes. People get really mad if you took the model that someone else would use. Who do we think the models would be?
Oh.
We can just pick from anyone. He's very tall. He's very, very tall.
It would have to be somebody who's like a student,
Like,
like
yeah.
currently,
Yeah, like
right?
You know who I think would be like very fierce?
Winky.
Winky.
Yeah, like Winky.
I feel like Pansy Parkinson just has like the grace like resting model angry
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Like she could be really good. I feel like that could be one of them. Maybe Sirius picks her. Fleur, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
we got it. Fleur's the other one. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Maybe Ginny, this is how like Ginny's like, I'm gonna find a way to enjoy the family. Like let's
it's
throw
like
Fleur a
sister-in-law,
bone.
like bonding
So Ginny's got
experience.
Fleur and Sirius has Pansy Parkinson as their models. And they're trying to drape the new school uniform. Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah.
What would the new uniform be? Like,
Yeah,
what do you imagine?
I mean, I
Are they
like
new colors? Are they keeping the same colors? Are they going different modern style?
Well,
are they
the
going
colors
like
are by house, right? And so
I know,
like
but are they switching it up?
in the remake, like when Fantastic Beasts, when JK's like, what if I fixed all the stuff I messed up? Like I think they had something where they were like different colors.
I got some more things for you, JK.
Got a big thing you could fix. So I think, yeah, that could be something where like maybe Sirius knows like, oh, back in the day we had this different style.
oh,
So
like he does like a retro.
he does like a retro future thing, which I think
That's
is a really
interesting.
good look. Like that's, I think, always nice is like he knows like what the current kids are wearing. But
Yeah.
he knows what they used to have, and he does like the blend of old school cool, which
Yeah.
I think is a huge advantage.
yeah, but Jenny pockets.
Pockets.
Thanks, it has pockets.
There would be like the pockets in your robes, and then the pockets like inside here and here.
All
Yeah,
on your
just all-
skin suit. Just-
Oh, like a wand pocket in your
She
sleeves.
would definitely do the thing where it's like when you buy a jacket and then like you own it for 4 months and then you learn like there's a zipper pocket here, like the whole time. Yeah. Okay.
I think part of it too is like they have a very short amount of time to sew these clothes.
right.
Who do we think would be good at doing that in a short amount of time?
This is dead.
This is a magical fan fiction world where everyone's alive and over the age of 18. The thing is, if we're going with Sirius being like punk cool jacket, like he would totally know how to like sew patches and iron on patches and
Yeah.
put buttons and stuff.
A lot of
like he would
safety
have
pins
that.
involved.
But also, Molly feels like to get around like hand-me-down clothes and stuff, she's got to have a good
that's
sewing
true.
game.
Yeah.
Molly
So
made the
Ginny-
sweaters. Like they
Oh,
definitely
fuck.
know.
Molly made the sweaters.
Yeah, they
Shit.
to save money, they definitely know how to like repair
Yeah.
and make clothes. Like
Well,
they definitely
especially
do.
especially as the youngest, like Ginny getting all of the hand-me-downs after 6 people before
Yeah.
her. Like she would
Okay.
definitely have to know how to
She
sew.
knows how to make it work. Nailed it.
Yes.
Make
There
it
you
work
go.
is,
Make it
and
work.
that is
Thank you.
Tim Gunn's catchphrase.
Yes.
I've been waiting for 10 minutes to find a way to say that.
Make it work. Okay. I feel like we've laid out the different things. We've got Sirius making old school cool. It's all about the style. He's got the history of getting around the wardrobe, so he finds a way to make it cool. People don't forget around it. He's got his leather jacket experience. Ginny, on the other hand, makes it more for utility, but she's got more of the skills from Molly. I think we've laid forth the arguments. I think we go to the applausometer in the audience to determine who the ultimate winner of Project Runway and the entire reality TV gauntlet is. So.
Remember, we're not voting on whether they have the skin suits. That's a given.
The skin suit is under.
New challenger approaches Brendan Grugle. So, if you think that Ginny Weasley should win with this Project Runway presentation, make some noise. Wow, that is commanding.
Pretty significant.
Okay. If you think Sirius Black has done it, make some noise. Loud. Very loud, but not as loud. Ginny Weasley has reigned victorious.
Well done. Well done.
Well done. Fantastic.
You all made the correct choice. I'm proud of all of you.
You've done it. Congrats to Ginny. Shout out to her. And we've done it. We've done the reality TV gauntlet. And now we've got time to do some Q&A.
Hey, how's it going? It's me, Editing Mike again. Before we get into the Q&A, just wanted to pop in for a couple more ad reads from those ads where some of them will be read by me and others of them won't be. They're inserted locally. Just doing that because this is quite a long episode, so let's have another quick little ad break. And once that ad break is complete, we will round out this episode of Potterless with the Q&A, which was ridiculous and wild and featured Kelly a little bit, so you might want to listen to it.
I just thought that we almost had Sirius, the funny uncle, made the school uniform. That would have been awful, y'all. Everyone would have hated them.
People surprise you on Project Runway.
That's
You
true.
never
He would have
know.
written TikTok on it or something. It's not going to be good.
Trying to relate.
It's like hashtag, but then the pound sign is after the word. He just completely fails it. Okay, or it's got a space in the middle, so the hashtag doesn't work. It's got punctuation, so it breaks it. Okay, the first question that I will be answering is from Kelly, as I always do, and she always makes the subject line, "It's your wife," so I always read it.
Now, that one is your wife. I'm not your wife. That one is your wife.
Kelly has written, "Sort the BTS members into Hogwarts houses." And she has said in fan chant order, testing my BTS knowledge.
What does that even mean?
It's great. Thank you. I know it. Thank
I'm
you.
so sorry.
Okay,
I've
No.
wronged you.
No.
I apologize.
I got to tell you, BTS, when they do shows in Korea, is the best because the crowd, they don't just sing along with the songs, which is the worst thing when you go to a concert and it's oh, Kendrick Lamar's on stage and person bad at rapping Kendrick Lamar is next to me with the stereo sound. Never
He's
what
the
you
featured
want.
artist.
What at least the Korean fans do, and then some of the folks in different cities, if they're good about it, is they do different fan chants. So it's they will only sing certain parts. So in Boy With Love, for example, when it gets to the chorus, there's background things where they go, "Oh my, my, my."
I love
and
that.
They let BTS sing, the main part, and then in the harmony, the crowd will only say, "Oh my, my, my."
That's
and then
awesome.
it's cool because they do
That's so
the chanting-y stuff, and you don't have to sound good, or they will just say certain call and response-y type things. But one thing that they do is the fan chant, where all of the members of BTS have their stage names, but they have their 3-syllable Korean names as well, and they chant this, but depending on what song it is, they change the tempo of it, and they do it if there's a song that has an intro, Boy With Love as well, also has a delayed instrumental intro, and then they'll do the fan chant, and I really don't want to mess it up.
How do we get your audience to do this when you walk on stage?
Just gotta find a way to chant Mike Schubert, Mike Schubert, Mike Schubert, Mike Schubert. But they do it they first say RM's name, he's the leader, so it's Kim Namjoon, and then they do it in age order from oldest to youngest. So it's
Don't look at us, man.
I'm looking in the general direction of the one person who screamed RM. Yes. So it's Kim Namjoon, and then it's Kim Sok-jin for Jin, and so I'll do this in order. We'll sort them first. So we've got Kim Namjoon, RM. He's the leader, so he's gonna be in Gryffindor, very much Brave. You got to do it. Then we've got Kim Sok-jin. Jin is the silly one. He's the funniest one. He's the one I would be the most friends with, in real life. I feel like he would be Slytherin, but in the good, not racist version of Slytherin, because he likes to do a bit.
It
play
doesn't
a prank.
exist.
Then after, so Kim Namjoon, Kim Seokjin, is it Jung Ho Suk? Is it J-Hope after? Yoongi. Okay, so it's Min Yoongi, who is Suga. Suga's the best, one of the more intense rappers in the group. I feel like he could be Ravenclaw because his wordplay and his rapping is like so creative that he's like a very knowledgeable guy. And then so Min Yoon, let's see, it's hard to like not just do the whole thing because they chanted out Kim Namjoon, Kim Namjoon, Min Yoongi. Then it's Jung Ho Suk, right? Okay, so that's J-Hope. J-Hope's very friendly and bubbly, so I feel like he's Hufflepuff, like gets along with a lot of people. Yeah. Okay. And then it's Kim Namjoon. I have to say it every time from the beginning. Kim Namjoon, Kim Seokjin, Jung Ho Suk, or Min Yoongi.
Mike Schubert.
Jung Ho Suk.
You're doing that so
and then it's Park Jimin, right? It's Jimin. Okay, so it's Park Jimin. Jimin is the best dancer. He's my favorite, so I'm going to put him in Gryffindor. And then Park Jimin, and then Kim Taehyung, right? For V. V is like, he's the most suave, like, he's the most like picturesque, and he like
the
has
Brandon
cool
of
dad
the group.
style. I think
Don't laugh so hard at that, Lauren. You're dating me.
I feel like he would also be in Ravenclaw because he's like a very like old soul, like grandpa. He like likes reading books and stuff. So I feel like he'd be in Ravenclaw. Look, you're nerds. If you're Ravenclaw, come on. You like drinking chamomile tea and reading books. Like, it's cool. Yeah, it's fun. You got a vibe. And then after that, it would be...
Says the man who reads books for a living. One book.
But not for fun. I will say I did just come from I did just come from a big beach vacation where all I wanted to do was read books the whole time. It's so much fun. And then after that, it's Jungkook, who is like the best at everything. Like Jungkook is literally good at everything.
A real Brandon type.
The Brandon type. I feel like you have to put him for Gryffindor just because he's like main character status. Like he's good at singing, he's good at dancing, he's good at all the like games that they do, like when they do like their reality TV show, which Kelly was really trying to get us to do for this. So I've sorted them all, and now you all have learned more about BTS.
Kelly did say when she sent in this question that there was a correct answer to the sorting. So I'm excited to hear
So we'll find
about
out.
that.
Yeah.
It really sucks that like when they were giving out the like sort of like stereotypes of the band, like you're the suave one, you're the hot one, you're the
They didn't give it out. It's like they have their own personalities.
Yeah, but then there's like, oh, you're the one that's good at everything.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, he truly is. All right, great. Okay, good. Jungkook. All right, I did nail. I got thank you for the help to making sure. I messed up one thing, but I got it mostly right. But yeah, they like chant that like to the beat of the song, so they'll just be, it's great.
Next time you see Mike, everyone chant Mike
Schubert.
Schubert.
Mike Schubert. You have to do it 7
Baby's
times.
got back.
And then he appears out of your mirror.
Okay. So now we'll go through some other
Does your hair for you.
We'll do some other non-BTS questions. So this one comes from Eleanor, who the subject line was Sue Bird is the GOAT. Eleanor, you are correct. Sue Bird Jersey. Eleanor asks if I'm going to the preseason game on Saturday. I'm not because I'm performing improv. If you want to see more Mike Schubert while I'm in town, I'm doing improv shows with my old troupe, A Tribe Called Yes, where we do improvised hip-hop shows. I will be performing Friday and Saturday, and the next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's at West of London Theater. You should come through. It's a very good time. You'll get to see me do improvised rapping and stuff. You can also watch it on YouTube if you want to like make sure, but it's good stuff. You should totally see it.
Don't give away the milk for free.
I mean, it's the one on YouTube is very good. It's a legitimately good performance.
And it will be like
very
that.
good. Everyone should
And
go check it
then
out.
let's see. So because of that, I'm not going to the preseason game, but I am going to the Storm versus Mercury game in Phoenix so that I can see Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi play basketball against each other and talk trash. Very excited.
What's your seat number for that one? You just want to give it out?
I have Splurge, and I'm sitting courtside with...
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was joking.
No, I'm sitting courtside with Sal Testa, me and my buddy Sal Testa.
Yeah.
We are going to treat ourselves. We are going to fly
Hell
to
yes.
Phoenix, and we're going to have a boys' weekend where we watch the two greatest women basketball players of all time play basketball against each other. Really
Boys in
looking
the
forward to it. And what's really nice is that WNBA tickets are not expensive, which is a shame, but strike while the iron's hot. Get in now before the tickets are expensive, because the WNBA is going up and up, so are the ticket prices. Go to a Storm game. It's great. They're also a really good team, and I'm cheering for them to win. Go Storm. Storm up. Related question, Eleanor asks, who is your second favorite Storm player? So number one, Sue Bird, obviously. Number two, I really like Jewel Lloyd a lot. She's really good. She's very good at basketball, has a cool name. And I believe that when I was going to Storm games, when I lived in Seattle, like all the players had like a thing that would show up on the Jumbotron after they scored, and it did different things. And I think Jewel Lloyd, because her name is Jewel, hers was like Cash Money themed.
Yes.
Nice.
And I think like when
Correct.
she would make a basket, it would like make a cash register
Yes.
noise. And
Yes.
it would show her with like one of those like big fake dollar bill chains.
Yes.
It was really good. So Jewel Lloyd.
I want that every time I send a Slack message.
Remember in AIM when you could send custom like noises to when you sent messages?
No.
Yes.
So you could send custom messages, and I would rotate through different Missy Elliot noises were all mine.
Or they just the reverse.
So like I would send one and it would go like holla, holla, holla. It was great stuff. I miss it. Okay, let's see. Jonathan says, Alaska, representing at the Seattle Live Show. Did you come from Alaska like today, or are you just like, oh my
yeah.
God, amazing.
That's
Okay.
incredible.
How far was that to travel? 3 hours. Okay, did anyone come from farther than Alaska? Okay, that's a no. Because you traveled the farthest to come to the show, Jonathan, I'm going to give you this I Took Latin in High School notebook. I will leave it here at the end of the stage for COVID purposes. Also for COVID purposes, someone emailed and they asked, can I give you a gift? The answer to your question is yes. You can do the same thing of just like, leave it on the stage. And then I will get it after. But COVID reasons, I'm going to try to keep my distance. But anyway, Jonathan also has a question. He says, you've mentioned Jesus being a wizard on the podcast before because they celebrate Christmas in Harry Potter. How do you think wizards view different figures in Greek or other mythologies? Which I think is very relevant now that I know more about it, since I've been reading Percy Jackson and playing lots of Hades, the video game. But yeah, I mean, they don't like ever address the theology of Christmas. It's just like the holiday.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong because I'm not a Brit. I don't know. No one here is a Brit, I don't think. But like, isn't it Christmas sort of almost like secular at this point? Like,
That's
isn't it
what
sort
a lot
just
of
I
like-
mean,
British people
England is like a
told
very secular
Yeah.
place now.
Okay.
That's what a lot of people told me is that like when I made this point in the podcast, they were like, oh, we're just calling it Christmas break because of like holiday. So I don't think that like the religion of it, but do they still live in a world where like Greek mythology comes into play?
Yeah. Or like Norse mythology, or is Thor a wizard?
I mean, I feel like I feel like Greek mythology probably does exist. I don't know. Like, I feel like we would know if history was significantly different or if like the culture of the world was.
But are they dead then? Like,
The one thing I wonder is like a lot of people told me when I was saying that no one good comes from Slytherin in the books, which is true. People were like, oh, Merlin was in Slytherin. Where in the canon was that? Because I read all the books. That dude didn't show up once. Was it in something else?
I do feel like it is mentioned in one of the books because they talk about.
it wasn't like a Pottermore thing or something?
I don't think so. It may have been, but there was something with Merlin and the giant. I might be mixed up just with my
Were you thinking
Stonehenge.
of Sword in the Stone?
No.
The great Disney movie? Disney?
The point I was making with that is that Merlin being in there makes me feel like Greek mythology might also be kind of like put into the mix, or at the very least, like they would try to like justify it as like a.
But this is the problem because Jesus was a man, so Jesus can die, but the Greek gods don't die.
Well, I mean, we
like a lot of gods don't
know
die.
that wizards can live for a very long time. So maybe because like everyone around them was dying and they sort of were alive from one generation to the next, that people just sort of turned them into these like, and it was like actually like
so
Poseidon's
they're not-
son who like actually people thought was Poseidon.
There's less wizards and they were really powerful wizards. I see what you're saying.
Right? Yeah. And they were living for like 200 years or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting. Now,
Yeah.
did they live on a mountaintop?
Maybe.
Okay. Asked and answered.
We've done it. We've nailed it. Kelly also replied from the green room. She said, so close. Correct answers. Namjoon, Ravenclaw, Jin, Gryffindor, Yoongi, Slytherin, but not racist. J-Hope, Hufflepuff, Jimin, Slytherin, but not racist. V, Hufflepuff, Junka, Gryffindor. So I don't know if I got that close, but...
Kelly, can you hear us? Kelly?
Hello, Kelly.
Kelly?
Okay, let's move on. This is from the Kirby sisters. The Kirby sisters say, if each character was a Birdie Bots every flavor bean, what flavor would they be and why? It's good.
Every
Dumbledore-
flavor.
Yeah.
So many options.
There's so many. Well, at least the ones we know.
Yeah.
Which here, let
Yeah,
me
should we
pull
look at the
up.
list?
I'm going to pull up
Also, Kirby Sisters is badass. I love that.
Purdy.
It does sound like a band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the character Kirby.
Okay, Birdie Bots flavors. Here we go. According to the back of the pack, banana. Here, let's just do one person for every flavor.
Perfect.
Who's banana?
Ludo Bagman.
Okay. Why banana?
Just a silly fruit. Just a silly little fruit.
I'll take it. Black pepper. Someone a little spicy.
Ooh.
Could be
serious?
Madam
Madam
Hooch.
Hooch.
Ooh, I like it.
that.
The hair,
The
yeah.
salt and pepper hair, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Blueberry.
Molly Weasley.
Molly Weasley.
Oh.
Yeah, sweet.
Sweet, nutritious, you know?
Mhm, full of antioxidants.
Oh, and I'm weird for choosing mandrakes. Whatever.
Booger. I feel like that's got to be Peeves, right?
Yeah.
Like that feels very
Yeah.
Peevesy.
Yeah.
Candy floss, which is the British way to say
Cotton candy.
cotton candy. Which just someone's silly and but
Yeah,
not
sweet and
Dobby.
light and airy. I mean,
Dobby is very sweet.
or Luna, maybe.
Luna could
yeah.
be good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun. Cherry.
Throw it away. Gross.
Yeah, that's exactly my reaction on
The cherry one, I feel like it tasted like medicine, so maybe
Yeah.
it's Madame Pomfrey.
Pomfrey.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it tastes like medicine. Cinnamon, again, like spicy.
spicy.
That could be like maybe Lupin. Ginny's good.
Yeah,
Ginny's good.
yeah.
Lupin could be good. A little spicy in
Yeah.
there. There's not a chocolate flavor, otherwise that would be Lupin. Dirt flavor.
Hagrid?
Hagrid.
That's not a burn. Like, I just think he'd
Just
like
earthy. He would. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here's one that can be more of a burn. Earthworm. Thing below dirt.
that. Oh,
Draco.
the woman who's the herbology
Oh,
teacher.
Sprout! Yeah, that works. I feel like earwax has to be Dumbledore because
Yeah.
of Alas Earwax. And also,
Yeah.
what I learned from doing the Birdie Bots episode of Potterless, the earwax one actually tastes good.
Really?
Shut up. Move on.
It was so good that we were like genuinely like, what flavor is this? It can't be earwax.
What
And
is
we
it?
looked at the bean and it was earwax. I cannot describe it.
Have
it
you
was
compared
good.
it?
It was good. Real earwax, not good. Earwax flavor, good.
What is it? No, shut. You either have to explain everything. What does it taste like, or not talk
I
about
want to
this?
say it was like kind of sweet, where we thought like it might have been the lemon one, but it wasn't lemon. But
I wonder if the makers are just like, no, we're not. That's too gross even for us. We just can't do that.
it was okay, but it was good. Grass.
'Cause that one actually wasn't that bad either, though.
the grass again, like
Grass.
earthy. Who does someone who likes?
Xenophilius Lovegood.
Zeno could be good. I was thinking, who's the Ferenzi? Could be it. Like he's all
Yes,
about.
yeah,
he's all about the
Ferenzi's
forest.
great.
Green apple. It's a sword. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I feel like we should just stop after that because
Yeah.
we're not getting better
Yeah.
than Draco being the apple. That's really good. Yeah, that's good. Great question, Kirby sisters. Absolutely great. Okay, this one is from Jasmine. This is Seattle live show question. Self-care who? Mike. And this is why the subject is in it. Mike, why did you plan a live show the day after you got back to the country? Have you slept? What time difference is it from here where you came in India? Hope you can rest soon. Thank you, Jasmine. That's very sweet of you. So let me pull up my World Clock app, which I used a lot over the past couple weeks. If anyone hasn't been following my journeys on Instagram, the aforementioned Sal Testa got married in India. His now wife is Indian. Her family had the big India wedding, and I was fortunate enough to get invited. So we flew up to Delhi, and then from Delhi we spent a couple days. We did a day trip to the Taj Mahal, then we went to Jodhpur where the wedding was, and then we went from Jodhpur to Goa, which is like a nice like coastal beach town, and then we went from Goa to the Maldives. Kelly and I went there alone because we were like, we're so close and they're going to be gone in 30 years because of global warming. So we're like, we got to go now. So we went there for a couple days and then we flew back. So in the Maldives, it is currently 9 a.m. So it's a 12-hour flip, which was very good for me remembering whether or not I should message Brandon about stuff where I was like, he's not awake yet. Don't message him. We left at like 7 p.m. Maldives time. We took a speedboat to the airport, which is like objectively pretty cool. Speedboat to the airport. Then we had to wait in the airport for like 3 hours. Then we flew 8 hours from Male to Istanbul, and then we had a 2-hour layover in Istanbul, and then we did a 10-hour flight from Istanbul to New York, and then an hour car drive back to our apartment, which we then de-India'd our suitcases, and then re-Seattled them. So it was like it was
Just
like
lots of salmon.
it was a lot of like takeout shorts and tank tops, put in jeans and flannel. And then 4 hours later, after running like errands for 4 straight hours, go to the Newark airport in New Jersey, and then fly out
God, you
from
flew out of
there.
Newark?
We did fly out of Newark.
Why do you hate
Well,
yourself?
because it was cheaper and less layover time to fly back into New York and then get a separate flight to Seattle than it was to go straight from like the Maldives to Seattle or try to connect. It was a mess. So then We flew from Newark to Seattle last night and then got in at like midnight Seattle time and then got to Brandon's place, slept there. And then I think because my body was just so confused after being in planes and airports for like 32 hours that like I've reset my jet lag clock because when we finally slept in a bed in their apartment, my body was like, oh, finally. You're not crunched over. Yeah. It wasn't that I planned a live show the day after I got back to the country. It was that I said yes to doing a live show on April 21st in Seattle, like many moons ago. And then in between that time and today, my buddy Sal Testa said, hey, do you want to come to my wedding in India? And I said, yes. And then Kelly were like, what's the latest possible time we can leave and then go so we can maximize this trip? So that's why it happened. I weirdly feel okay. So thank you for your concern. But we made it happen.
I think in that time, Lauren and I sat.
Watched Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm in
I
the
went
show.
to bed at
Thank you.
10:30 last night, and Brandon had to stay up to let them in.
Okay, so this one asks, what is a Lumen Stadium? Is that a reference? Did I say this? Okay, what's Lumen Stadium? Is that CenturyLink got renamed? Again. Okay, that's funny because so CenturyLink, it was like the one Wi-Fi provider in like all of
it's back, baby.
Yeah. Or
have
like
it.
Yeah, we have CenturyLink.
I just remember like whatever it worked, my apartment in West Seattle didn't have CenturyLink and for whatever reason I had like Xfinity, whatever it was. And I remember like being not super happy with the service and I was like, should I switch to CenturyLink? And the negative reviews for CenturyLink, I've never seen anything more scathing in my life. It made Xfinity look good, which is wild. So I thought it was very funny. And this was like when the first day I was in Seattle. And then I learned like, oh, the football/soccer stadium is named after them. That's funny. So, okay, glad it got renamed. Oh, the company. Oh, did they just pull a Comcast? They did a Comcast Xfinity where Comcast was like, if we change our name to Xfinity, no one will know we're the same thing. It's like, we know who you are, Comcast. You're not fooling anyone. That's really funny. Wow. Well, that's great.
I have CenturyLink, so I don't know what the fuck happened with Iron.
Yeah.
I think it's one
we
of
got grandfathered into some old company.
It's one of those things like in New York where you can only pick Spectrum and it's like somehow not a monopoly where it's like you try to sign up for another internet, but then the world is like, no, you can only do this one. It's like, this feels inherently un-American.
One time in New York, I got a $700 utility bill, and I called. And I was like, "What the fuck? I didn't do this." And they were like, "Yeah." What the fuck are you gonna do about it, bud?
New York, baby.
Okay. When asks, what Seattle sites have you all seen and liked best? So I lived in Seattle for 2 years, saw a bunch of stuff. You guys have been here more new. What Seattle stuff have you seen so far, and what have you liked? Granted, you've moved here during COVID.
Yeah, we are very COVID cautious. This is the first time
Yeah.
we've really been out without our masks in 2.5 years.
We did a live show with Mike in LA in February of 2020. That is the last time that we went to an event venue.
Yep, and we've moved twice in that time.
Well, you've moved twice.
I've moved twice.
I've moved once. We have a beautiful view from a rooftop. That's a nice site.
I mean, we're big food people, so we've eaten
Yeah.
multiple places. What was that? Like spring? Was that like
Autumn.
Autumn? Yeah.
Autumn in Finney Ridge is delicious. I have a annual pass to the aquarium because I love the sea otters.
Yes,
I like
that's
to go see
wonderful.
them.
The Flying Bike and Lantern breweries next to us are awesome. So go check those out.
Yeah,
Cool.
Support your local brewery.
Yeah, what I will say, the places I always pointed people to was Gasworks Park.
Oh,
best
yeah.
part of
Oh,
the
yeah,
city.
That
that
place
is
is
dope.
great.
Love Gasworks. Poo Poo Point, great hike with a great name. Like, come on. And it's really close. It's a better view and not as much of a line as Rattlesnake, which is the other like close one. I was a big fan of Adaball, the pinball bar in Fremont.
That's where you
Really
took me on our first date when I came in.
Brandon and I's first date. It was on my like iPhone suggested photos the other day. Like, something we took.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
and
Anniversary.
Brandon took me to this restaurant I never heard of called Zuave. It's this Italian place.
Oh,
that's
no.
just like
The Mexican? Wait.
no, it was the Italian place.
Oh, here,
Zuave.
yes.
Yeah, here. It's just like in some Italian family's backyard. It's fucking good.
I don't think it's legal.
Go there, but like don't tell anybody. Really, really good food. And then I also the Seattle Pinball Museum, really good stuff.
Oh, the Mopop is awesome.
Oh,
of
Mopop's
course,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff on Seattle.
The elevator ride that's $35.
No, cannot recommend. Okay, final
50, whatever,
question here because we are at time. This is from Master Coupon who asks, "Will Kelly honor us and pop out and say hi?" And I think I might see Kelly.
Kelly, can you hear us?
Kelly, will you humor us? And woo, Kelly! What a fun! Oh. That's so good. Wait, give it up. I want to get a video of everyone rounding applause, Kelly. Give it up for Kelly! Incredible. Cannot think of a better note to end the show on. So thank you all so much for coming out. First, give a round of applause for Brandon and Lauren for being incredible guests.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff.
Thanks,
Give a
Mike.
round of applause to all of you guys for coming out, for the crocodile, and hereafter for having us, for Eli, who helped out with the sound and the merch and the hospitality and like literally everything, like jack of all trades. Thank you guys so much for coming. I'm, because of COVID reasons, not going to be able to do meet and greet stuff. So if you're Jonathan, come get your book. If you're the person who asked about giving me a little owl gift, drop that on the stage, and then I'm going to get out of here. But thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Seattle's very near and dear to my heart. I miss it every day. So to come back here and to do a show where we sold out the place is really cool. So thank you so much for coming out. I hope to come back soon. The fact that you gave such a huge round of applause for Percy Jackson will make it really easy for me to tell my tour manager, like, hey, if we do a Percy Jackson show, we can sell at least like the 100 people that came tonight will come back. So like we should come through. But anyway, until then, as they say in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Wizard on! Thank you so much for coming out, everybody!
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Potterless. Potterless is created by Mick Schubert. It is hosted by Mick Schubert. It is edited by Mick Schubert. It is produced by Mick Schubert, as well as a lot of other people who supported over the many years that the show was on a weekly, regular posting basis on Patreon. And if you go to patreon.com/Potterless, it's still there. It has been rebranded for my new podcast, which is similar to Potterless, but is about Percy Jackson, called The Nost Olympian. But all of the old Potterless posts are still there. And if you join any tier of the Patreon at all, you can get access to every single Potterless post that we posted for the entire 5-year run that Potterless posted stuff to Patreon on a regular basis. That includes bonus episodes, live streams, director's commentary, my notes, so much more, all available to you for just $4 a month or above if you want to get some of those other TNO goodies, which are really good. I'm biased, but I think they're fantastic. That all lives at patreon.com/Potterless. Potterless is still on social media. I still post stuff from time to time. I've been posting reels to Instagram and tweets to Twitter, so head on over to those. Twitter is at PotterlessPod. Instagram is at PotterlessPodcast. And then we've got the Facebook group still, facebook.com/Potterless. The subreddit, reddit.com/r/Potterless. Lots of good stuff going on. Check us out. I'm still posting stuff from time to time, and it's very silly and funny. And finally, if you just want to be caught up with what I'm doing, me, Mike Schubert, the guy who makes this podcast, you can find me on social media at Schubes17, SCHUBES17 on Twitter and Instagram, or you can go to my website, which is just Schubes, www.schub.es. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate the fact that you are listening to these episodes that come out, even though the show doesn't post regularly. I'm having such a fun time making sure that you all can hear some of these live shows because they're such a blast to perform, and I love doing them, and I'm glad that folks around the world get to hear them. So stay subscribed to the Potterless feed because I will keep posting these on a regular basis. Thank you so much for listening. I really, truly, genuinely appreciate it. And until next time, when we cross paths again, as they say in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Wizard on.